In this video, we're going to be talking about circumscribed and inscribed circles. A circumscribed circle is a circle that you draw around the outside of a triangle that contains the three vertices of a triangle. So in other words, the vertices here of the triangle H, G, and I will sit on the outside of the circle, on the circumference of the circle. An inscribed circle inside of a triangle is a circle that sits inside the triangle, and the edges of the circle sit on each one of the three sides of the triangle. So how do we go about drawing a circumscribed and an inscribed circle? Well, it has to do with perpendicular and angle bisectors. So when it comes to a circumscribed circle, we're looking for the perpendicular bisectors of each side of the triangle. So we want to go ahead and draw those. Where the three perpendicular bisectors intersect one another will be the center of our circle. So in other words, let's look at the perpendicular bisector of side GH here. So in that case, side GH, what I want to do is go ahead and find the midpoint of GH. And we're doing this freehand, but I think it's about right here. That looks about right to me. Now I want to go ahead and draw the line through this point that's perpendicular to GH. In other words, the line that's set at 90 degrees from GH. So that'll be something maybe that looks roughly like this, let's say. And now we need to find the midpoint of side GI. So maybe that's right about here, let's say. And to draw our perpendicular bisector, we want to draw the line through this point that is perpendicular to side GI, and maybe that's about right here. Now we want to find the midpoint between H and I, and if we say that's about right here, and then we draw the perpendicular bisector, so the line through this point that is perpendicular to side HI, then maybe that looks something like this. And so what we see then is that the perpendicular bisectors intersect each other at about this point here, which means that this point is going to be the center of our circumscribed circle. So then to draw our circle, we just make this the center point, and we go ahead and draw something that looks roughly like this. And again, I'm doing it freehand, so it's not going to be perfect. But the idea is that you find the center of the circle, which is the point where the perpendicular bisectors intersect each other. Then you use that as the center of the circle, and then the points G, H, and I, the vertices of your triangle, should sit right on the edge of your circle like this. What about for an inscribed circle? Well, in this problem, we've been given the triangle PQR. We've been told that sides PQ and QR are equal to one another. We want to draw the inscribed circle, which will be the circle that sits inside of PQR with the edges of the circle on the sides PR, QR, and PQ. So in that case, what we need to do is we need to draw the angle bisectors of the angles PQ and R. The point where the angle bisectors meet each other will be the center of the inscribed circle. So if we go ahead and start with the angle P, we want to find the line that goes through this angle and bisects the angle perfectly. So that's going to look something like this. If we look at the angle R here, then we want to draw the line through the angle R that bisects this angle perfectly, so the angle measure on one side is about the same as the angle measure on the other side. And then we want to do the same thing through the angle Q right here. So we draw the line through Q that bisects the angle perfectly in half. And where those three meet each other, the point at which the angle bisectors intersect one another, that'll be the center of the inscribed circle. So then we just use that as our center point, and we go ahead and draw the circle, and it should look something like this. And the point here, if you've done this correctly with your protractor and with your compass, is to get the edges of this circle to intersect the edges of your triangle. So they should just touch the edges of your triangle like this. The edge of the circle should sit on the edges of the triangle in exactly 3 points, one on each side like that. So that's the idea behind drawing a circumscribed or an inscribed circle around or inside of a triangle.